Welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Gems podcast. It is your host, KILLA, and today we're going to talk about the four main financial accounts every single person should have. Now, these four are non negotiable. Why? Because they help build the foundation as far as money management, as far as preparing for emergencies, and investing in your future. So, these four accounts, again, non negotiable. Everything else that you want, every other account that's out there, you can build on top of that. But these are the main four that's going to set the foundation. So without further ado, we ain't gonna waste any time. We're gonna get right into it. Make sure you guys have a pen and pad to write these down if you don't already know. Also, make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, if you're listening to this on any podcast streaming platform, make sure you do hit that follow button, leave a review, and tap in. Let's get into it. So, the very first account everybody should have is a checking account. Why? Because this is where money flows in and out. The purpose of a checking account is to monitor when your money comes in and when your money comes out. So that way you can monitor your everyday spending. So for this account, the purpose of it is your everyday spending is going to happen. So what do we use the checking account for? When you get paid from your paychecks, you make sure your paycheck goes into that checking account. Any bills, rent, utilities, subscriptions, all of that, that's going to come from this account. This is what you're going to also use to transfer money to a savings account and to your investment account, which we'll get into a little bit later. Again, you also want to make sure you just have money in here for, again, like your monthly expense, all your monthly expenses. So that's kind of the main premise of your checking account this is your daily driver. This is where all the money that's flowing in and flowing out is going to happen. Your daily driver. Now, what you want to make sure you don't do is, obviously you want to avoid overdrafting the account. And obviously you don't want to have too much money sitting in here that isn't earning interest. And we'll get into that in the next one about that. But essentially, yes, you just want to make sure you keep enough money in your checking account. This is your daily driver. This is where all your money is going to go in and flow out of. Now, the next account everybody should have is a high yield savings account. Not a regular savings account with any bank. You need a high yield saving account. What is a high yield saving account? Well, this is an account that helps to protect you when life happens, and you can earn money with it. So, perfect example of a high yield savings account. I currently use SoFi. SoFi is the bank of my choice. I believe American Express does it. I believe Synchrony does it. I believe there's quite a few banks out there that will offer high yield savings. Like they offer you a higher percentage because most banks, when you have a savings account, you're essentially only getting 0.0001% on any money that's sitting there versus a high yield savings with SoFi. I believe it's about 3.8 on the money sitting in the account. So you can make money every month based off your money just sitting there. It's accumulating, it's compounding. That's why it's important to have a high yield savings account. So, and for those who want to check out SoFi, I'll drop my affiliate link down in the description for you guys to tap in and create an account and get started with them. But essentially, what is the main reason for your high yield savings, right? So, like I mentioned earlier, you earn money, you earn interest rather than how a traditional savings account works. You're going to earn money every month. I would ideally use this for like an emergency fund. So in SoFi, they allow you to create vaults. And so I have a specific vault that's mainly for an emergency fund. And that is mainly just for, stuff hits the wall. And I have that money sitting there in case I need, to pull from it. It's my emergency fund. But you can create vaults for anything. Like if you want to have a travel vault for, all your trips, if you want to have a vault for, any, things that you want to buy from maybe say like a house or so, like a down payment. If you're going to save money for maybe like a new car, any unexpected expenses, this is what you want to have the high yield savings account for and have those vaults for. Again, you want to make sure you have an account that's actually making you money. There's no point of having money if it's not going to be deployed and it can't work for you. So I would say high yield savings account definitely is on the list of accounts that everybody needs to have. All right. Number 3, right? So the third account I believe everybody should have is a retirement account. Now, there are typically, I believe, two different types of accounts, retirement accounts. You have a 401k and you have an IRA. And so, what is the difference, right? So, first of all, understand that a retirement account, this is to invest in your future line, protect yourself for the future self down the line. So, a retirement account helps you build long term wealth. You got to remember when it comes to investing, you're playing the long game. So whatever you do now, you want to make sure that you're investing now so that way you can live good down the line. And it also gives you take advantage of tax benefits. So the difference between both the 401k and the IRA, well, actually, let's start with the 401k, right? So a traditional 401k, you'll typically see that's offered with most employers. You'll normally get that through employers. And then any contributions you make to it, you can do that directly from your paycheck. And then, any contributions, your employer will also match that as well. And so you have traditional Roth and traditional 401ks that are available out there. And I'm sure there are a lot of brokerages that offer that. I currently use Charles Schwab for a rollover IRA. And a rollover IRA is essentially, it kind of just operates as a traditional Roth IRA. Sorry, a traditional IRA where it's just I pay the taxes on the back end from when I decide to withdraw. Now, an IRA is essentially, you know, you being able to, so it stands for obviously investment retirement account, right? So you can open it again through your own brokerage firm. Again, I use Charles Schwab. You can choose between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, depending on your situation. Again, a Roth IRA, you're taxed at the beginning. So anytime you withdraw, when you reach that 59 and a half, that's the threshold, you won't be taxed at all. There's no penalty for that. But a traditional IRA, if you take money out before you're 59 and a half, you will be, well, definitely there's hefty penalty. But at 59 and a half, anytime you take out money, you're going to be, taxed on that. So my suggestion would be to sign up for a Roth IRA rather than traditional IRA. But you can have both. They're not terrible. It's just one will pre-tax you and then the other one will post-tax you. So that would be my suggestion there. Get a Roth IRA. And it gives you obviously more control with your investment. So yes. So what else about a IRA and 401k, right? Obviously you want to start investing as early as possible. I started investing about 2020. I was about 26, 25, 26 when I started investing. I learned about trading and investing. Obviously you guys know that. But I really started focusing on the buy and hold for the long term because I really wanted to make sure that my last decade didn't look the same as this decade right now that we're currently in, where we're halfway through it. So yeah, definitely you can invest at any age. I would say the earlier, the younger, the better. That way you can play a longer game. But yeah, you just keep on investing. With investing, obviously you're going to see compound growth. Invest in the stock market. You can invest in ETFs, set mutual funds, bonds, individual stocks. You have a myriad of options. And then, like I said, you can also make your contributions every year. You want to try to max out your IRA. I'm still trying to get better at doing that. But yeah, I believe the threshold is it's either 7,500 or 8,000 or something like that. One of those numbers. I don't know off the top of my head, but bottom line is that, retirements account help you help your future become financially independent. And so the last one that we're going to talk about is a brokerage account. Now, this one can operate the same way as your retirement account, except I would say use this account mainly just for investing in stocks, bonds, in mutual funds, anything like that. So the retirement account, you can invest in stocks and stuff like that as well. However, I think it's the best thing to do is to just make your contributions, again, like maxing out what the max limit is for the contribution limit is, and then use the brokerage account to buy more stocks and build that long-term wealth. Either way, you're building wealth on both sides. But the brokerage account, you want to use that more. That's where you definitely want to buy the stocks. You definitely want to get into like either like growth stocks, or if you want to have a dividend portfolio, or whatever type of portfolio you want your brokerage account to be. There are plenty out there. I've gone from I think I used Robinhood at first, and then I moved to, E-Trade, and then from E-Trade I went to TD Ameritrade, and then Charles Schwab bought TD Ameritrade, so now I'm on Charles Schwab. And then I recreated or reopened my Robinhood account mainly for, like smaller growth stocks, while I use Charles Schwab mainly for like my heavy hitters, my Apples and Nvidias and Netflix and SMHs, semiconductors, stuff like that. Google's, Microsoft's, like that's what I have in that account over there. So, and then also like in my smaller port, my brokerage account, I also have my dividend port. So I mainly just invest in like dividend stocks, stuff like that. So there are many different ways you can go about utilizing your brokerage. But yeah, the benefits with, the brokerage account versus like the retirement account is that, the retirement account, you have an investment limit versus per year. You have an investment limit per year. In a brokerage account, you don't have a limit. There's no limits at all. There's no age restrictions. And you can take the money out at any point in time. Just be cognizant of the capital gains. Capital gains is if you buy a stock, you make money on it, and if you pull that money out, you withdraw it, you're going to have to pay taxes on the gains. That's capital gains. So just be, aware of that. You can take the money out whenever you want. No penalty. You just pay taxes. Versus like a retirement account, you take that money out before you're 59 and a half, you're going to pay a hefty penalty for that. So what's the best uses for a brokerage account? Financial independence, again, if you kind of almost like how you utilize the high yield savings, if you're trying to buy a home, if you're trying to start a business, you're trying to build, long-term wealth. Again, that's what a retirement account can be used for. It just gives you the flexibility to grow your wealth on your own timeline. So just to quickly recap it all, we have your checking account, right? Again, this is your daily driver. This is where you're going to spend and pay your bills. Your high yield savings account. This is what you're going to use for any short-term goals, and for any emergencies. Your retirement account, your 401k or your IRA, whichever one you choose to go with. This is going to be your tax advantage retirement wealth account. All right. And then the last one is your brokerage account. And this is for investing in long-term goals beyond retirement. So please understand that building wealth isn't about finding the other thing too. Like, it isn't about finding the perfect stock. It is about having the right systems. And I believe with these 4 accounts here, you're going to be able to cover your present and protect your life. Cover the present and, protect your future, or set up your future, I should say, and also cover your behind on any, surprises that life may have. But yes, that's kind of the main thing with having these here. You're checking for your day-to-day, your high yield savings for protecting your financial foundation, your retirement account to secure your future, and your brokerage account to help create opportunities to build beyond retirement. All right. With that being said, it's been another episode of the Millennial Gems podcast. Again, make sure you do like, subscribe, hit that follow button, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.